Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you ready? I know you've had a lot of travels.
I did have a lot of travel, but I did get to wave to Jason and Sunny in the air when we crossed paths in our airplane.
Yeah, it's true because they went to Toronto. Toronto.
They did. They were so close to London, and I went to Montreal.
I know. So you really did miss them. You crossed them in the sky. Do you know how we know that it really was in fact Canada?
Tell me.
Because that's where Jason and Britt were, is a set they used when they fled to Canada.
I think it's hilarious that they have like one building. Canada
It's
has
just
one
yeah.
building.
Like we're on the map, literally. We're on set. We have a set. That's Canada. Just that like one place. So look, worlds collided. We know that Jason does not feel that the spy world and the mob world are the same. He feels the spy world is extra dangerous. How do you think they fared?
I think Jason is just getting tired of babysitting Sunny and Carly and their blinders for their world versus what the WSB is. And Jason just tired of taking charge. Like he has to watch out for Sunny for having a heart attack. He's got to watch out for Carly for getting her whole family busted. It's just a wild time for Jason. I do feel very bad for him.
Look, I'm heeding his warnings because I was concerned about whether or not Sunny could handle this meeting. And I mean, look, he at first I was like, okay, he's managing. He managed to find where the guy kept his gun. He managed to appear like he was staying a couple steps ahead until he said like, this better not be a trick when he was searching for information. But at the end of the day, Jason was, he's always there, and he was there to kind of handle this guy.
He was, and thank goodness. I don't know if they had some sort of signal or just timing wise because they're supposed to go to two different
Exactly.
locations. Right, but his timing, as Jason's timing always is impeccable. And like when we had a tiny little chat going over our notes, you also mentioned like the mob doesn't really have a whole lot of training, but the WSB agents do. So we're seeing those differences really kind of plastered in front of us with Sunny's method versus the gentleman that I don't remember his
Yeah.
name.
Exactly, right? Because spies are trained in like torture. So for me, watching Sunny point a gun and being like, how man, it's true, using those mob tactics in those moments, most people just choose to be in the mob and whatever happens, happens. There's only like two ways out, jail or you die. And so in this situation, I just kept thinking, like, I mean, if he knows you're gonna kill him anyway, like he has zero incentive to tell you anything because I think to a guy like Zelensky, Sunny is of no threat compared to like other people. He's local.
Exactly.
He's local fish. He's
He's
not.
got a local sector, not important.
I don't know. They got a laptop. Don't know what they end up getting from any of this. But either way, the guy falls down and hits his head. So and they fly home.
And Sunny just seems so unfazed by it all, whereas Jason's concern grows because if this guy's gone okay, but we still have a risk out there, and nobody around him in his inner circle grasps the risk at this moment. Yeah.
Not the way he does. And I mean, like, I guess, wait, who was he working? He was working for the FBI for those 2 years,
Yes.
and he's been assisting Anna, I guess. So he has some sense. And I mean, the polonium really threw him over the edge.
Yes.
I mean, Jason has always had a lot going on, but I've never ever seen him this way before. I have never, like, I mean, I guess if you take a step back, it all makes sense, right? We learned that Jason stayed away for 2 years for Carly.
Yes.
If we think about, oh, it's true. I never actually thought about that though. Like, I never, wow, this is the first time I'm actually considering this. because they had their wedding, right? And then Sunny came
Mm-hmm.
back and they closed the box. And this is after Jason and Carly agreed to like truly spend their lives together, that this was going to be for real. They acknowledged that what was scary, like for Carly specifically, what was scary was she didn't want to open those feelings because, again, these were feelings that were closed ages ago, ages ago.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
all of that got opened back up. And there was that symbolism when Sunny came back and Carly actively chose to close Jason's ring and like open up and put on Sunny's. Um, yeah, I guess I never thought of the fact that that happens. And on the heels of that, he takes
Mhm.
off to Greece and that's when he dies. And that's when he's confronted with this deal. It
Yes.
never occurred to me until now that this
Mm-hmm.
guy was like, okay, I am going to spend the rest of my life with my best friend. He like tells her that he loves her. Then his other best friend comes back and then he goes to Greece. And even though they're not together, he just married this person and then is
Yeah.
presented with the deal. I never even factored that into the whole story. That mentally he, there was not much time. Like Carly's had way more time, right? To
Yes.
move on
Yes.
since their wedding, Sunny's divorce. Like she had a lot going on, but I never really realized that he might have been frozen in time with those feelings.
Oh, yes. Okay, me neither.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of explains those longing looks all the time. And
Yes.
when
Oh my
he came
goodness.
back and he was like, he told Carly something about like the tattoos, something about like he would rarely allow himself to think about people at home. And I remember he was like mentioning his kids and all these other important figures. And then I remember
Mm-hmm.
him making this point of saying, and mostly her. And I was like, oh, that's a lot. That's really intense. And then we had all learned his reason that he stayed away to protect her.
Yes.
And again, because they're selling this fact that they're just friends,
Besties, yeah.
friends, in order for me to buy this, I just relied on what he had told her at Sunny's like funeral when they thought he was dead, when he kind of said to her like, I felt responsible for you, right? Because they were friends and he brought her into the mob world.
Yes.
So that was always kind of like for me my way of understanding yes, they have a friendship and they're very devoted, and like I guess maybe it's not always on the soap opera, but Steve Burton explains sometimes like the devotion, the relationship, like in on his podcast. And
Mm-hmm.
so I guess I just felt like, okay, that's part of it. He feels, responsible for her safety, but this is like pushing it. Like this is
Right?
like right now. This is like, I mean, I'm sorry. I was like, where did this puppy dog come from? He knocked at her door and wouldn't turn the knob.
I know. That was huge, right?
And then
Very
them just
symbolic.
right? And then just standing there was like, okay, like this chick, you're probably busy. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I remember I said this to you when he came back the last time, like when he came back and Drew thought he was Jason.
Yes.
I felt that, in the years watching, that the emphasis was always on like Carly chasing Jason. And again, product of the times, right? Like all the women were
Mm-hmm.
fighting over Jason and it was always looked at like, oh, it's her possession, whatever. But I mean, like I find like they were both like that, but I found that later on, like Jason's devotion and like affections for her were being like conveyed a lot more freely and easier. Like I was feeling a balance
Yes.
like when he came back. And I mean it makes sense. He's the one like they're not the only ones who experience a loss, right? Like they were home at
Mm-hmm.
least, but for him the fact that he's like died so many times for
Right?
for him it's been made clear that Carly and Sunny are his home. Carly
Yeah.
specifically his home. What did you think about their conversation about their, friendship today?
It was definitely a declaration of history, heavy bond and love. Like when he looks at her and he gets teared up and he's like, I would take a bullet for you. She's like, and you're just like, okay, did he just propose? Like, what happened here? Like, it's so wonderful. And it's a juxtaposition of like what you talked about a couple of weeks ago that, Brennan breathes and lies to Carly. Carly wants somebody who's going to have her back and be honest with her. And she said it multiple times to Brennan, like,
Mhm.
I don't care what you do. I don't care how messed up your job is. Like, I just want you to be honest with me to the best of your abilities, kind of thing. Like, where you can be honest with me. But he just chooses to like lie all the time.
Which is different from her relationship with Sunny. Like,
Yes.
even when he wasn't telling her things, she knew what he wasn't telling her.
Exactly. Exactly.
And she thinks she's fully like ready, like all dressed up out at the Metro Court. She just like this was me. I know I do it to Anna. I'm a cool cop. But in that moment when Carly was out with Brennan, it just felt like I'm a cool girlfriend. I don't need to know where you're going. I'm so cool because of her history with Sunny.
Oh my gosh. Yes, because okay, so Carly and Sonny, they're still in their mob world. They think they get it because they've been in that world. Well, Jason's like sees big picture vision is like, no, this is mob on a world level. Get your heads on straight.
There's mob and then there's just relationship. And the truth
Yeah.
is, the relationships and connections, regardless of like the back and forth with Sunny and Carly, it was genuine and there was
Yes.
loyalty.
Yes,
And
there's a
it's
code.
yeah, like like Jason references the code to be
Mhm.
like how you conduct yourself in the world of danger. But at the same time, like even on a personal level, like Brennan may have feelings, but at the same time, it's like this guy apparently never really had feelings for anyone. And for all we know, these are just the strongest, but clearly not real because he is going into it lying to her. He's lying to her face. He crossed a line like with her daughter. And there's like a lack of genuineness there. Like he gets up to talk to Sunny to give like, I mean, I don't know that he believes Sunny, but he goes and has this conversation, comes
Mhm.
back to the table, and it's like, okay, but like you went to go talk to Sunny about Michael, which is Carly's son, and you can't share that information. If you're willing to share it with a mobster, why aren't you willing to share it with her sitting across from you? Didn't you used to tell her a whole bunch of crap? I mean, you did drone strikes for her in her presence.
Yeah, like it's all very weird. It's like he likes the idea of having a girlfriend. This is like first time having a girlfriend ever in his whole entire life, and he's like blowing it every step of the way. Like I struggle with him.
Well, this is a classic case of it's all about the chase, right? When it was about the
Yes.
chase, she had an in, right? He let her in a way that like he's not now. Now that he has her, walls up and he can't even share little details. Like he's really cutting her off from that part of his life.
Yes. Oh my word.
But yeah, I mean, going back to like the Jason and Carly thing, just listening to them talk and everything they were saying, like I don't know, like I was really freaking out. Like I was really freaking out because for me there is no mistaking this. How like if you're going into this territory, these reactions, you're doing this for a reason and you're setting this up, and Brennan is the stepping stone to doing that. Like, a lot of real stuff came up. Like we have Jason being really vulnerable. We have him, bringing up Sam. Just
Yeah.
and how that is influencing how he feels. We get down to the nitty gritty in terms of like Jason being glad that she didn't listen to him, and apparently Carly in sync with that. This whole idea
Mhm.
that I mean, the basis of their relationship is the whole not trying to change one another and not trying to control each other. And that's what Jason's like famous for, even though Sasha kind of like dispelled that for everybody. And she's like, you do
Yeah.
like controlling things and you just do it from a distance, but you absolutely like control. And so it's just strange understanding this logic that essentially her not listening to Jason, and she can't listen to Jason because if she listens to Jason, she'll be resentful. And
Mhm,
Jason doesn't
mhm.
want, and is grateful that she didn't listen to him because he doesn't want resentment or a wall building between their beautiful platonic love. And and so now Carly is with Brennan to preserve her relationship, her friendship with Jason.
No, but like I can, it gives me a headache. But what I do, what gives me hope on top of all the things that you've brought to light for me is that when Sasha finally has her baby and everything comes out, that Jason and Carly will be together to be the grandparents they should be.
Whoa.
Hmm.
Huh. Yeah, because like when like, I mean, there's a couple of things like with the whole Carly Jason thing that's interesting. I mean, what we've talked about, but also just the details, right? Like there's a deeper level, right? The resentment,
Hmm.
the love, like I can't be controlled and I have to like do me. And Carly giving us a bit of a reason, telling us that ultimately she felt dead inside. Like she confesses that she's
Yeah.
not essentially like in love with the guy and she doesn't even know where it could go, but giving us a little bit of where her head is at, which kind of matches our previous conversations that we've had about like how Carly has been a little removed from so many things. It
Yes.
definitely left an opening for Brennan. And it makes sense when I hear her say this, like we had talked about the potential of her simply being lonely. The fact that she had admitted that like it was nice having like to have like a spy be interested in her. And it makes you go like, really? You don't think you still got it? Like you're not
Right?
you're not feeling yourself? Like, you know what I mean? Like she divorces Sonny. I get well, yeah. She did get cheated on by Nina, right? She had all
Yes.
this loyalty and this like love between her and Sonny, and then he cheats on her with like her enemy, and then she's with Drew, and then Drew drops her on a dime. Yeah, I guess she's not feeling so
I
like
get it.
she's
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
she's been shaken.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Okay, fine. I kind of can understand why it might feel a little nice, like she's still a woman, she still wants to be wanted,
Yeah.
and she hasn't really had her own life, personal life in so long. And I mean, she's been married a lot, she's always had her circle, and I feel like that kind of went away. Jason's been gone for a while, and even when he came back, he wasn't around. Bobby was gone, and even now, like thinking of it, like regardless of the sometimes animosity between Carly and Sam, they had a very sisterly relationship. And when Carly is going through it or they haven't seen each other in a while, like Sam will pop in. I remember a scene at the Metro Court where she pops in to check on Carly to be like, "Are you taking care of yourself? Are you
Yes,
like,
yes.
are you processing?" you know? And so her world in terms of like her carers and the people that would kind of be there, they're just not.
That's so true. You
Okay,
make it make more sense.
so I think I am understanding why like the appeal, but at the same time too though it's hard. It's hard. Like we've watched the show for so long. We were there. We were hooked when like the Sunny Carly Jason thing happened. It's a twisted relationship, but we get it as an audience. As we get older though, I mean even they're growing out of their stuff. We're growing out of it. We were all moving on
Yes.
collectively. Sunny was looking to pass the mob on. Like all of us, we were all ready to move on. So it's really weird to have Carly suddenly act like Carly 20 years ago, being like, I don't care about danger because that's doesn't feel like right. Doesn't feel
Right?
right. And I mean, I hear her, but she also has to hear how ridiculous things must sound. Like to keep claiming that he can keep her safe. Like, I just think that she's Delulu. And I think that she really feels like her world with Sunny and Jason translate. And I think it's kind of like what Felicia was saying, what Jason keeps trying to communicate is that there are nuances. But I can see, because even I get confused from Carly's
Mhm.
point of view, that sometimes it just looks similar
Right?
because it's really ironic after all this time to hear Jason lecture her about danger.
I know it is a bit ironic, isn't it?
And, when Carly's saying, well, I was warned about you and Sunny was dangerous, it's just like you want to yell at her because it's like, it's not the same. But you're like, yeah, it was kind of the same. You're right. Those arguments never worked on you before and you always did you. So I don't really know what's going on there. If there is like a part of herself that's like, I got me to where I am right now. And if I just walk away from this guy because he's dangerous, I don't know if Carly feels like she's letting go of who she is in some way, or if it
Mhm.
means that she can't trust herself if she makes this decision. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's like, I don't know if her mentality is like, my choices got me where I am so far. So it shouldn't steer me wrong, even though it's like it is way more nuanced than I feel like she's willing to admit. And to be honest, it's like, is dating this guy, yes, making you feel alive again, making you feel wanted, but at the same time, the fight she's putting up, while they kind of clarified it had to do with like resentment between Jason and her, it's like, is Brennan your human shield against Jason at this point? Because what
Hmm.
happens when your best friend platonically tells you, I love you, I would die for you, I don't want you to be with him, I forbid you to be with him? Those feelings are bubbling up, and then you dump Brennan. Then what?
Yeah. I think it's so multi-layered because there's the,
Mhm.
the love for Jason, the wall between them, her being able to have choice. She's untethered from the world right now and is kind of wavering. She did build up herself and was strong, and then a bunch of really sad, unfortunate things happened in similar time frame, and here she is again building herself up, and she wants to do it on her own.
Yeah.
So her gut instinct isn't great right now. So when she figures out that Brennan has betrayed her, I think that's going to be the moment where we're going to see strong Carly emerge again and then make the choices she wants to. I don't think she's going to run into Jason's arms. It's going to be that we have to see, the phoenix rise. We have to see this, like, Carly finding herself again, having her aha moment, trusting her gut again, and just being whole,
Yeah.
and then being able to do that thing.
Yeah, like, again, I think something really, like, if they are gonna, like, pick up on that story of that love between them that exists, that was unboxed and boxed again, like, if they are gonna do that, um, yeah, it has to happen in some kind of organic way, and I think that if you're gonna put these 2 people together, you talk about them being grandparents together, because
Mhm.
like, he feels Michael is his and that kind of a thing. And it's just, honestly, it's just too much love. Like, it's lover love. It's like, how
Yeah.
this is platonic is just hilarious that they keep calling this a friendship. But yeah, it has to happen organically. And like you said, in a way where she's ready and she can find herself. And it feels like that's what Jason is waiting for her to do.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, like, it's just listening to him not like trust, like, not, not trust Brennan with her.
Yes.
And it makes me realize, like, I don't know that he ever trusted Sunny with her. Like, look how involved he was in their relationship.
Oh, hell no, he didn't trust Sunny, but he knew how to protect her from Sunny. There's a difference.
And that's the thing. He's arguing that, like, Brennan is from a different world and it's a world he doesn't know. Yeah, it's a world he doesn't have access to. He can't, operate and do his, like, inside man work to protect Carly. He can't be so involved in her life the way that he was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, anyways, while they were having this whole, like, conversation, I just kept flashing to that, like, that turning point for them, which is when she slept with Sunny. Like, I was thinking to myself while I was listening to another conversation, there was like a clip I had found, and I don't remember when, but it was a clip I had found, and it was the conversation they had after she slept with Sunny, and it basically closed the door on, like, their
Yes.
romantic anything. And I was like, oh, I should find that and, like, repost it because the scene is so weird. And I was just shocked that they brought it up.
I know. I was like, holy, pulling on history here.
They brought it up and they decided to compare her sleeping with Sunny, which he immediately was like, there was a lot happening. Like, he immediately absolved her from that. And
Yeah.
then they decided to bring up that pivotal moment that closed the door on a romantic relationship. And they decided to say, hey, Brennan's a little bit like that. And I'm like, seriously?
Mm.
You're basically saying, hey, remember the situation that, like, closed the door on us? And we're gonna call Brennan the same, but maybe the ending will be different, and maybe this time the door won't be so closed. Like, that's how I felt. I felt like you were just opening the door and giving us access to this. So even though they ended, like, on a good note, Carly and Jason, earlier in the week he was getting so frustrated to the point that, like, I don't know, it was like he had this conversation with Diane that even Diane felt it was out of character, listening to how
Yes.
Jason was talking about Carly. What did you think of that?
I love that scene because I think Diane said something along the lines of, like, Carly has made monumental mistakes like her whole life, like
Yeah.
missteps and decisions. Like, why are you so bothered right now. And like Jason did have to take a minute to like kind of assess his thoughts because he was like beard or face with something. Diane of all people throwing it at him. Like, I just love this. Like, he went to Diane, he went to Lucas. Like, he's just going everywhere trying to figure this out.
It's not it's definitely not a Jason I have ever seen before, and I do think it's interesting. I mean, Diane is smart, she sees things, and I mean, we saw those scenes with her when like Carly would come up, like she knows, right? She knows that Carly was his will.
Yes.
She like she sees that, and the fact that she's questioning it, like I don't know, I just feel like there's so many clues there about what's going to happen, or the fact that like they are being questioned, right? They're both
Yes.
sort of being pushed to maybe this truth in their own way, in their on their own like paths. But for him to say like I don't, because she was like, to say you don't trust her, she's like, well, not right now, I don't trust her judgment, which is like fair. Like she's like, of course he can protect me from polonium poisoning he didn't plan on and that I ingested anyway and he didn't. Like what? He like ugh, I just can't with that. I just can't with that BS. But yeah, so like he's choosing not to tell her, but then it's like, what do you think she's gonna do when she finds out Jason was lying about all that?
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Here's the thing. Once that whole revelation comes to be that Brennan does not live by a code and has done all those terrible things, Jason is still moving along with his life, living with his code. His code is to protect their air quote son, Michael, so that he gets custody of their children. I don't think it's a forgivable thing in their world. Like, I do believe she'll be upset, but she can understand and see the reasoning.
It's making me think of like the nuance, right? Because when things were going on with Nina, it was so extreme. And
Mm-hmm.
so remember when like Carly lied about like Nina being her mom and then it confesses at the last minute. And Nina was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, it's so different when I'm wronged. And she was freaking out and she was heartbroken. She's like, how could she do this? And she couldn't understand why, like, let's say she like Carly was forgiven, right? Like Michael and Willow kind of like forgave her pretty soon in,
Yes.
when she's like, I also hit a person and everybody was mad for a long time. And so there was a lot of nuance there about who Carly was, the intentions behind it, confessing, like all of it. And when you keep talking about like the worlds and the subtleties, I feel like this is an interesting parallel because he's telling her, I would take a bullet for you,
Mm-hmm.
the and she's like, oh, but danger is danger. And like, I stuck by you guys. And that's the point. Like in a way, those people were worth it because they would have her back always. And that's the thing
Yes.
about Brennan, the risk she's taking based on the man he is and what he is doing behind her back, it doesn't make him worth like any of her sacrifices. It's not worth the risk, basically. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of interesting that you're going to parallel two lies and how like it's
Right?
so interesting how that's being like mirrored.
So true. Oh my gosh.
But like all this stuff doesn't stop there. So like Sunny for the first time is annoyed by Brennan. Remember when he visited her after the polonium poisoning? He was like, "Yeah, girl, do you?" And then he's like
Exactly.
rolling his eyes. And then like Laura didn't even know what to say when Sunny said something like, "Why didn't she just dump him after he almost killed her?" I was
Yeah.
like, "Dude, you shot her in the head
Oh goodness.
while she was giving birth to Morgan." He was trying to shoot Alcazar and then shot Carly in the head. So she
Oh
was
my
like
god.
delivering and had to have like brain surgery. It
Oh my word.
was so
So
soapy.
soapy.
But she got shot in the head and it wasn't a big deal. And he did it. So, like, even those scenes are bizarre to me, right? So, when you're hearing,
Yes.
Jason warn Carly about danger, and she's like, but wait a second, why does these rules not apply to that guy? Like, and then you have Sunny. I feel like I'm in bizarro land. It's like I felt like
Right?
we're all like this whole lifestyle was running its course. And now you have Sunny being like, why is she still staying with him? And it's like, um, everybody wanted to know that when she was with you.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, he wasn't responsible for Morgan, but I mean, like, Michael was in a coma. Then Michael got blown up. you know? Like
Yeah, a
so
lot of stuff went down.
Christina was kidnapped, but it was like so. Michael and Morgan were kidnapped earlier on. Like Avery was present at a shooting on the island.
Yes,
You know, he
all
shot
facts.
Dante in the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so it's
Just
just
like
really
just reflecting here.
yeah, just some
Just
reflections.
taking it all in.
Yeah, and just kind of being like, okay, this is weird. Sunny's having a reaction, but it's also funny how like Sunny's not getting up to interfere. He just rolls his eyes. That's it.
That yeah, that's his level of getting involved,
And
which
then
I'm okay with.
yeah, exactly. Because and then Carly's like, "Did Sunny warn you to stay away from me?" He's like, "No, he didn't come up."
So harsh though. Like, come on, man, work on your delivery.
I know. Meanwhile, Jason's running around town being like, "No, Carly, no." He's like, "I love you platonically, and you know that, and I know that, and it's deep. And we would die for each other. We'd love each other always, and I would never turn my back on you platonically, of course." It's just like, okay.
I
Oh
love it.
god. And then Sonny leaves there and then he goes to Jen Sidwell. He's like, "You've been into Africa. This spy who's a global spy, also Africa. You want to tell me something?" And I love how
Oh
Jen
my
talks to
god.
him like he's a dum dum. He's like,
Yes,
"Okay, so
yes.
it's like a really big place."
Well, it's like when you say you're from Montreal and you're like, oh, I have a friend who moved to Montreal. You're like, oh boy, here we go.
Oh man, I just thought that whole thing was like hilarious. But yeah, I don't really know, honestly. I don't know. Like I don't know what Jen's deal is. All I know he's an incredible actor. And then sometimes you're like,
Yes.
"I want to party with you." Look at you throwing. I mean, I'm not thrilled with him throwing all his money behind the like nurse's ball.
I
It feels like a
know.
kick in the face to the community.
I think so too.
Lucy has lost it. She just wants him back from Jordan, and she wants to be like, "I can offer you what you're looking for more than
The
Jordan."
nurse's ball.
Yeah. But then the way he is with Natalia,
Okay, the way he yelled at her and said,
yeah.
"You will never affect my life in the same way again," is like, was she in charge and bossed him around to in a way that he did not like?
I love how you're like, that must have made him really mad to be told to do that. Must have really broken up their home. Um, look, I think she could have either left, cheated, wore a wire, who knows?
Yeah, a multitude of things.
But like, I don't necessarily think that like Natalia is in the wrong, maybe in the way that look, I don't know what the deal is with like Marco, but like if Jen Sidwell, who is Jen Sidwell and does what we believe Jen Sidwell to do, I just
Hmm.
think that like most likely Natalia either found out or just tried to get away or it was too much. You know what I mean? Like I'm just sort of like
Yes,
what
yes.
is it that she could have done to you? But I mean whatever it was, it's a family issue because
Hmm.
Marco
Hmm.
walked in after clearly not having seen her in forever. What did you think when he showed up at Diane's for the interview?
I was like, I know this guy. No, I was no, because of you. You're the one that put up all the pictures that said like, and we figured it out because of the pictures. Like the whole mystery lasted about 5 minutes of detective work.
I know.
So we knew eventually he would make his way down here. We just didn't know how soon, right? But I loved that he was interviewing with her.
Yeah, and he was kind of explaining what was going on and that he had an impressive client list that he was going to bring to her. I was just happy that Diane has legitimate staff and that we're adding Diane level lawyers to this.
Yeah, I mean, like your post, we could add Tracy too. If she decides to go back to school and she wants to become a lawyer, that would be the firm for her,
Well,
as you said.
the judge in the end did not seem to care whether or not Tracy had a degree, but I just that whole thing was insane to me, particularly that she like I love that she showed up. She's like, "Yeah, he's one of ours." I'm like, "Whoa!" That she got Emma a lawyer, but
I
then to stand
know.
up and like remind us all of the fact that Monica's paperwork had actually gone through before
Yes.
all the shenanigans. I was like, "Oh, well, there you go." But then the DA pushed even more.
Hmm.
I was like, what in the world is going on right now? And I was just so irritated by her. She's like, it's because of your grandma. And it's just like, okay. And so look, for me, I'm just annoyed about like we're always annoyed with the PCPD, but it's getting more specific now. I am upset because the PCPD is constantly pursuing things in the absence of. Remember how like, Alexis went to jail
Yeah.
because they couldn't find a gun?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And like now this DA is like, oh, her record is sealed. It must be bad. And I'm like, it's sealed. Like, this is strange to me. You're a lawyer and you're supposed to be working in facts. And the facts
Exactly.
are what you have in front of you, that she was kicked out of school for a B&E. That's what's on the record. It's like you're a lawyer and I'm sure you've been in a courtroom where the judge tells the jury, "Hey, you know those words you just heard out loud? Strike them from your minds and go make your decision without that piece of information." And so this is what was driving me nuts. She's like upset about information she doesn't have.
Yes.
And also she pursued a case in the absence of there actually being a crime and decided to like push further to make sure she ended up with a punishment. I just couldn't with that.
Well, it's like she should have got a fine or something. Like I couldn't understand that she was so hung up on this. It was kind of like telling a kid you can't touch that button. And all she wanted to do was get the information, punish her for whatever thing that is happening with her and Anna.
But you're paralleling this with like Jen's being like aggressive with Natalia. And this and this DA is like, "Emma, you're going down." And then you have like
Oh,
actual criminals running around. What?
it made me think of, and you're the one that's going to know this. I'm going to say words and you will absolutely put them together for me. So, at
Okay.
some point in time, there was that annoying lady who was after Sunny and then she ended up sleeping with him. This is what I feel is what's happening. She was
Oh,
on, she didn't really
Margot?
have yes, I think so. She had like a storyline and then it kind of went nowhere. And I think she may have left. I don't think she died.
No, she didn't.
Yeah,
But
it's
like she
totally reminiscent of that. Like just annoying for no reason and then flirty with Sunny.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't. So normally we have Anna, who's a cool cop. Then we had Carly, who was a cool girlfriend. And then we had the DA who's like, "I'm a cool DA. I do
Exactly.
I do what I want, just like you, Sonny. We have so much in common, Sonny." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm over it now."
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, what is happening? What is happening?
Nothing good, friend. Nothing good.
Like you're pulling Trina in, being like, "Hey, Trina, did you know Emma has a record?" I'm like, are you supposed to be going around like
Right?
telling people this?
So silly. So silly.
Oh my gosh. And I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, did she think that Sunny was just going to be like, "Oh my gosh, we are samesies. How about I give you a list of all my crimes?"
Right?
Anyways, I look, I don't know what Jens is up to. You know what I mean? Like Brennan goes to Sunny for the whole Solinsky thing. I don't know if I believe him, but he's all like, "I love you, Sunny. I knew it wasn't you." And I'm like, okay. And then like Natalia's really worried about Jens. And he's right. Like,
Yes.
like if you're so worried, tell people like who I am to you. Mm, but I don't know what's up and who's who. Like the fact is he's telling Sunny, "I'm not after you." And I kind of believed his argument, but at the same time he does have something because he's out for Alexis.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what his plans are, if it's personal or criminal.
I know. I like the way he keeps the mystery going.
Yeah. So why do you think Jocelyn got sent back home?
Oh, that's a, I don't know. You? That's a
Is
great
that is
question.
that a nice way of saying I don't care? All I know is that I learned this is what they showed me. This is what they showed me. Today they showed me that Joss notices things.
Yeah.
So she's ready. She's like, she knows right from left. I'm like, that's where you would have lost me. That's where I would have stopped my spy train.
Never made it in the WSB.
Yeah. She noticed every single detail and it was a test. And she's like, "What? You spies are sneaky." And I'm like, "Jocelyn, like you're training to be a spy.
I
Like,
know.
you know, like, do you need to work in deception to be able to anticipate deception?" Like, I just can't stand it. Oh, there was something about Brooklyn that I thought was pretty cool. So when they were having that meeting, I felt it was very Tracy of her that even though they already went there to sign the deal, that she decided to hold off and ended up getting more out of Jen's.
Oh, I love that. Yes, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. What else happened this week? Oh yeah, Christina's lost her damn mind. It's
She's
not good.
lost her
It's not good. Like anything I thought that could have
Uh-huh.
happened
No,
can't.
cannot.
You know, like
No.
the one thing she has going for her that would be like, yeah, I totally could see her as being the Sunny. It's this. You know, like as much as she's being erratic and you're like, how could you ever be the most powerful mob boss ever? It's like, well, I mean, if you compare the Sunny Jason dynamic that you were talking about them, the trip, the plane, now think of Joss and Christina. Similar,
Yes, true.
but I still can't see how she can get to that level when she's doing what she's doing because she doesn't have a Jason yet, right? She's not like in a special mob training. And now I'm just like, this is insane to me. So it's like she tells Lucky. So now Lucky right now, he's stuck, right? There's such a
Yes.
like, I like it. Even though it wasn't long, their like relationship, I feel like it's there, right? I feel like they did a really good job of bridging the Spencer Corinthos gap.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So that's locked in. And Lucky is not gonna, he's not snitching. He's just like, let me know what's going on and we'll figure this out.
He's not impressed.
No, not impressed. He's
No,
not impressed at all.
no.
And neither is Elizabeth. She could not be more adorable.
Oh my goodness. I love seeing that side of her. It was
Oh
so
yeah.
natural and on point and so cute.
I think that like with Elizabeth, what I do like about this is a moment where we get to kind of like highlight what her life has been like. And it's true. She has literally been on her own for years. We all know that. And so I
Hmm.
kind of like that also being factored in to how she's being as a patient because to be out of commission and to need to be cared for 3 to 6 months, it's
What?
like I think about like Elizabeth's history on the show. This girl has never been out for the count for that long, ever, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, like it just, I mean, look, I'm glad Lucky's there. It's also part of their story, right? About how he might end up in her home a little bit more than, a bit more permanently. But it's just like if Lucky wasn't there, I'm just like, I wonder what that would have been like because it would have been like Scott at her bedside or Laura. But that's the point. She never would have been hurt this badly. And it's there to kind of push along her and Lucky.
Yes, and I love that. I love how well he knows her and the patience he has for her and how to communicate with her. And when he was folding that sweater on purpose wrong to prove a point, it was beautiful, beautiful.
Oh my gosh, Christina though, I was dying. I'm like, this is actually like really good because when they walked in, doesn't she look like a saint? Please don't let Molly's dad die.
Exactly,
Like
exactly.
unprompted, this girl is just beside herself for a man who has tortured her, for her sister's
Yeah.
father. How saintly did she look in that moment?
It was pretty glorious because I'm like, okay, sound noise is obviously not working. They heard nothing before. They're going to be in right at the right moment. And it's, they're trying to put together their relationship. And here we have this like beautiful. And Alexa's like, because I don't know if she knew that they spoke and made peace, or maybe she did, but
Mhm.
she was just still observing, like, okay, so this is like really happening, guys. Like, we're like taking a
Well,
turn.
yeah. It's one thing to know that they're making peace or watching a movie, but this was so vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
And the idea that like look at Christine growing
Right.
and just going so
Go
beyond herself.
bananas.
Wow. But this is really bad. This is like really,
Oh,
really
so bad. I can't even see like how this is gonna go because Ava's brilliant. I love the little towing office because it looks like my basement.
it looks like the trailer that Sam and Jason jumped out of and blew up.
Okay, my memory doesn't work that way, so I'm gonna go with yours and say that's super cool.
Um yeah, I don't know where this is gonna go, but okay, this is where my head's at. This is like what I'm wondering. So it was confirmed today that it actually was Ava's car. So she did get that
Yes.
right. She did get that
Yes, that's true.
right. And it also showed us how like how deep into their dating that they are, that's them, right? That they're dating so I don't know how else to say this. They're dating so hard that like he could use her car just like that.
Yeah.
They're
To
sharing
bring
her
but
car.
I'm surprised that Elizabeth does Elizabeth know what kind of car Ava drives? Like that was all very interesting.
Yeah. And when Ava went to that guy, I was wondering if she had suspected, but like now she'll know that somebody cut the brakes.
Yeah.
Also, Rick straight up saw her there because I forgot that she called the police.
No, the
She
police are already there, but she was on her way to get back to Ava's house to make sure
Yes,
that like
yes.
nobody drives the car kind of thing because she regretted it.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so this is where I'm at. Because I like posted and asking a question about like whether like is Rick's loyalty to Ava wavering? Because last week he wasn't impressed with like Ava's whole approach with Sunny. Like he doesn't like his brother, but like he seemed really uncomfortable about Ava being really excited for Sunny's death.
Yes,
And
yes.
and also he seems to take to heart this truce he made for Molly.
Yes, absolutely.
And Rick has, straight up gone after Kristina. Taunting her. There he is dating Ava. He feels a type of way. To him, winning Ava's court case was showing Molly that it was an accident. Like there's like there's a lot happening there.
Mhm.
But the thing is, he seems to really want to do this for Molly, and I don't know where that's gonna go. Like Ava acknowledges that they had a fight, but what does this mean? Like on the one hand, this could be all the leverage that Rick kind of wants in a way. Like I don't know how this helps him,
Exactly.
but like, is he gonna flip and try to protect Christina for Molly's sake? Is that what we're seeing being set up? Because it's not like he
Ooh.
rushed Sheard, so it's like I don't like why would Rick offer Christina up on a silver platter? For what reason? Like I know his goal was always Avery. And I mean, look, if Ava wants to go about her plan, to be honest, like it sucks putting Sunny in danger like that, but it is her best shot of winning to go tell a judge that,
Mhm.
unless Rick is going to spin this information and say, well, maybe you shouldn't, because if somebody is cutting your brakes, that's also a reason that you're a target.
Right.
But anyways, I just wonder, like, because again, I don't know what's gonna happen to Christina. I can't imagine her going to jail. But it's like I thought that any pursuit of Ava, any crossing of a line, was how she would cross over into the mob. I'm having a hard time seeing it now because this is such a mess.
Yes, because she's not logical, unfortunately, and she's not, like one, she doesn't have a right hand person, and then she's not strategic in what she's doing. She's doing it all impulsively and emotionally.
But what would have to happen for Rick to care about both Christina and Sunny? Because, like, I mean, there was a point where Rick was Sunny's lawyer. It's like yes, they tend to be at odds, but there was a part where they were working together. And for me, when I saw the whole issue with like Ava and Rick and the fighting and him being weirded out by Ava and the way she was talking about Sunny, I just thought to myself, oh, is this the beginning of like a bit of a fracture there? And like, will Rick think twice, when it comes to protecting Molly? He made a truce with Alexis, but at the same time, it will cause Molly pain if he's at odds with her sister, right?
Well, that's
So
exactly it. Like
then,
between turning a new leaf and the car accident, what do you think?
well, because in my head, I mean, all of these details kind of make me go like, oh man, this is a lot. Like it feels so messy. But without these details and the accident happening, I guess I had seen like the potential of maybe even Rick helping Christina navigate the mob, like protecting her. I know she would go to Diane,
Hmm.
but it's just that like there was something there where I saw him maybe flipping, but I don't know.
I don't know, but it's definitely open. Like you said, like he didn't say anything right
No,
away, and I think that is a big deal in itself and a clue.
I think so too. And I think Cody got through to him. And I think, look, he has one kid and he is a changed person, right? Like he did give Molly a speech on being a bitter person. He knows who he once
Yeah.
was. Um, I don't know. I think this truce was real and serious. I'm just wondering like how far it will extend. It's just really interesting when they show the whole like Cody um Molly thing, because every time like Molly's around him, like she's in like jeans. I'm a cowboy
She's
too.
chill, exactly. Well, it's funny because when I'm like, I love when they're in a room together because you can feel the sparks growing and
Yeah.
flying. And then I wrote to make you laugh. Lulu will be so jealous.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
Another brunette to be
absolutely.
upset with.
Oh my god, seriously, this girl, I mean, look, to be honest, I'm down for the fireworks. If Lulu needs to explode and be erratic on a few people before she, implodes and then sort of starts her life, right? Starts like taking the time to actually heal and like be a human that other people can tolerate and deal with.
Yeah, it was a
Um
nice break this week. It was like, oh
it
wow,
was.
okay. It gave me like a little palate cleanser and like ready for what chaos she's gonna cause next week.
Okay, so there was oh yeah, it was about Molly and Christina. This is what I thought was interesting. So, I'm sure Mac couldn't be happier to have like Molly and Cody be friends so that he has
Right?
a good influence. And he brings them over for drinks. And I thought it was so interesting how they seated them because they put like one side of the law together and the other on the other side. They put Molly on and Mac on the same side, and they had Cody and Christine on the opposite side.
I didn't notice that. That's awesome.
I thought that was pretty interesting. So I was surprised that Sasha was suddenly having second thoughts about her secret.
I know. I just think she's having a hard time not having Michael there to experience every step of the way because she's seen him be a father. And you pointed out a long time ago, like their relationship didn't end for lack of love. It was because she didn't want him to be away from his child.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah, because that was exactly that. She wanted what was best for him to keep his kid and felt that like Willow was the best chance. And I think that that's pretty tough when you made that sacrifice so Michael can have his kids. And then that very person tries to take them away from him. I think that's got to
Yeah.
bring up some mixed feelings of like, I mean, even though it's been a long time and she's definitely moved on, like her person was
Yeah.
Brando, like let's be real.
Oh
And
yeah.
they are going back to an old storyline, but I guess if you go back to like that point in time, yeah, Sasha gave up everything so Michael can have his family and now that's no longer the case, and does that make her go, what was the point of that sacrifice?
Well, isn't that what Jason's feeling right now? He went away for 2 years, made a huge sacrifice for Carly, and now what?
It means you have to put on your big boy pants and say I love you out loud. You it means you can't just constantly be in silence and like wait around. Like you wasted 2 years. You clearly are in love with the girl and trying to hide
Yeah.
it. And it's creeping out. You're a little erratic. You're like running around to hospitals, like Lucas assumes he's there to visit Elizabeth because of the accident. He's like, yeah, I'll do that later. But first, let me talk to you about Carly. She's in danger. It's like, no, she was in the hospital. She was in danger. Now she's out. She's healthy. Like
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, he's all over the place.
He is all over the place, but I do love, and I know maybe you see sparks, but I don't. I just see like a grandpa being really happy that when he talks, the baby kicks.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I don't see like the sparks with him and Sasha. There's
Okay.
definitely like what we talked about, that really funny dynamic of, because she makes the point of doing it. Ugh, you're not that cool. Like it's that,
Yes.
you know? Like
Yes.
there's the Jason we know, and we're like, oh, Jason, and then Sasha's always right there to be like, you're not that cool. And you're like, okay, we hear you. So absolutely, I think that's the dynamic there. And I mean, that was something that Steve Burton had said in an interview too. Like, I have somebody has to be there to raise your kid. And so yeah, I definitely think they're honoring that. How did you feel about the cease and desist by Monica and her tribute? First of many, I'm sure.
Yes, it's hard because like we know the reality of the
Yeah.
situation, but I thought it was really beautiful and how they did the commemoration of the anniversary and what they said, especially like the co-chiefs of staff. Like it was a really beautiful
Yes.
way to honor her.
No, I love that, and just understanding like her influence, and even recognizing that like Monica and Alan, were not a part of ALQ and created this whole other world that the Quartermains became so attached to.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I mean the cease and desist by Monica, I kind of love that. I kind of love that power move, that like,
Mhm.
that like weight that Monica has, was just like we got to have that again a little bit. So I definitely love that. I loved the center. It looks freaking gorgeous.
You're right.
The set looks gorgeous. So I love that that is set in place. And for me, clearly I think it was meant to, they were going to do that anyway.
Mhm.
I'm definitely not looking forward to that episode.
No, neither am I. Like, I'm just pretending like everything is great.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that episode at all. What I do like though is the true coming together of the Ashford and Quartermains, the way that like Tracy was with Trina, right? Because we had like the sit down with like Tracy, Stella, and Curtis, and now it's like that recognition because like Trina lives on the Quartermain property too.
Yes,
And I love that because like Curtis needs that. He doesn't come from like a powerful family, right? And if you're going to play in the
exactly.
big leagues, you're going to need allies. So I kind of like that that relationship was cemented because I feel like it really does solidify like Curtis's place in that world.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh, is that
absolutely.
funny? It's like he he's still your family, Drew.
Honestly, like he's just the knife is just, oh my gosh, being twisted.
It just didn't hit me when I actually saw it happen. That of course Drew's always mad whenever anything comes to Curtis and how twisted he is, but like realizing that last week when he saw him sitting at the quarter means like that's his. It's just funny because it's his house and Curtis is welcome there. It like amplifies
Right?
the anger he already has.
Yeah, Drew's off the rocker. And like, when did we think we'd see the day of like a calm, cool, and collected Curtis? Just,
That I could root for? Never.
yes, but here we are.
I'm worried though because clearly Jordan disagrees with Laura's relationship with Sunny. And even though
Yes.
she would never do anything to betray Laura, I don't like this. Like, it just doesn't feel like Jordan to me. Like, I can understand her having those feelings, but to act on them, like, I just feel like if she ever wanted to be mayor, it's something that could happen with Laura's support. Like,
Yes.
I love the powerful women supporting each other, but like, I'm worried because it's like you hear her say, like, thanks to Laura, I'm taking on this Lucy thing. And I'm like,
I
oh,
know.
like, I hope that that's not going to be poked at like a little too much. And another thing about Drew, aside from like his all of the drama that tends to surround him, are you concerned about a custody hearing on his end? Because Alexis wasn't really happy. She definitely knows how to play it. Like she doesn't push because she doesn't want
Hmm.
to lose Scout. But even like in the scenes where you have like Molly, Christina, and Alexis, they're like all the Davis girls are gonna stick together. I'm like, yeah, but you're missing Scout, you know, like Sam is
I
not there. And
know.
I do expect to have Scout be incorporated into that. But there's been minimal contact with Scout with anyone. So like, do you think there is gonna end up being a custody case there?
Yes, I feel like it's building for some time, and I think Alexis did even mention it at the very beginning when they were going
Yeah.
through Sam's will, right? She's like, "Okay, we need to just make sure that Scout's in the best environment possible." You see her wheels turning. She did keep her calm.
Yeah.
She is seeing, like, everybody is seeing how off the rocker he is. Like, my least favorite scene of this whole week was how he just went at it with Portia, just his absolute rage, and he's like losing control because all the parts he thought he could control, his name, the crypt, his place in his family, is being taken away from him. Right now his target is Portia. I wish he had recorded every time they interact, or just have something close by where she can capture what he's saying, but he is unraveling and quickly.
Yeah, I think she should have done that. Like, even though he is blackmailing her, at least she could take him down too at some point, or even like play it for Willow if she wanted to. But I no, I do think that that is something that she should have included in her like I don't know plan to defend herself. But I'm scared though because he's angry. And like
Hmm.
you said, the more he's not getting what he wants, the more pressure he's going to put on Portia. And I am concerned that he'll push for Portia to back Kai's surgery if
uh,
he finds out that's who he consulted with.
I still don't understand, like, what he's just gonna like bet on him, and the like, I don't understand how he managed this, but that's like a whole other thing.
About like Drew's interest in Kai,
Yes.
like what he's getting out of it.
Yes.
Ugh, I mean, I think this has a lot to do about his building back his reputation, right? Like sponging off of the
Hmm.
Kai magic. Like out of nowhere he's talking about Oscar and this whole program and like Oscar will be proud. It's like, I don't know, you've barely mentioned Oscar. Of course what he's doing is a good thing and many things can be true at once. Like he's doing this thing that helps a lot of kids regardless of his motives. It's still going to be beneficial, but he's trying to like repair his reputation too. And I
Okay,
think that
fair.
Kai is part of that like rehabilitation. So it's sort of like the Kai magic, and also if he ends up, if it's successful, like because Kai's like, what if my surgery isn't successful? I just think that Kai's success in a way would be his success, and I think he would just claim it if he were successful. And either way, he gets
Okay.
to brag about what he did. So I mean, yeah, I don't think it's all about Kai.
Yeah, I was just like, he's such in a like weird space right now. I'm like, what evil thing is he planning for a guy?
I know, I know. Like even when him and Curtis are going at it, I'm like, guys, just like let it go. This is such a ridiculous conversation. And even Curtis, I'm like, okay, Curtis, you handled it well. Drew, to Kai's face, you handled it well. Like your motives are
Hmm.
irrelevant because at the end of the day, like it's Kai's decision. You proposed it. So for me, I just felt like this was so stupid watching them argue back and forth because I'm like, the train has
Yes.
already left the station. The offer has been presented to Kai. Both of you were respectful when you spoke to Kai. Both of you urged
Yes.
Kai to do his research, and that's what he's doing. Get off the screen now. Just please.
Truly.
And I'm just shocked because like they're walking around between Lucy and Jordan basically saying they're performing, they're performing, they're performing. And I'm like, is Drew and like Curtis gonna do this like duet together? Are they gonna do magic together where they're sabotaging each other? Because like Curtis once did a magic show and that's where he proposed to Jordan.
Yes, I remember.
So awkward. And or are they part of Magic Milo? I couldn't decide.
All of those would be actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I can't wait to see all the performances. Okay, so one thing about Emma and Anna. So like it sucks, like Emma's there doing this thing and Anna's just like, "Gah, I read the paper." She's like regretting calling her Nana to the scene because it didn't
Yes,
really work out in
yes.
her favor. But then when they
No.
were talking, I was just like, "Oh my gosh." Anna, just assuming and telling her things like, "It's just not your fight. It's just a dub." And I'm like, this is like the quickest way to
Oh,
push her away. And for like Emma to say, hey, like, look, at the end of the day, she's young and idealistic. That's the point is, like we say, youth is wasted on the young. Like, we can't throw wisdom on her. That's not how it happens. She has to do all this stuff. She has to live her
yes.
life. But then to say it's not her fight when it's clearly something she really, really believed in. She wasn't the only one to have believed in that, and she's like, oh, you're just gonna learn. Like the whole conversation was so annoying. And then Emma got to her when she reminded her of like, Edward saved my life, I could have
Yes.
died. And Anna's like, yeah, that was a rough time. And then like she talked about who Alan was for Robin.
Okay, so like my least favorite thing this week was
What?
hearing Anna say, I wish I could have been there for Robin. Like if I had a shot for every time, I would have had two, and then I would have been drunk because I'm a lightweight. But that was enough.
But when she tells Sunny, thank you for what you did to Robin, and I'm like, you're forgetting somebody because also in that time, do you remember how Jason lifted her off this stage? Do you remember how
Yeah.
Jason was also a part of it all? I love how you conveniently forget who Jason was to your daughter and you kind of just solely focus on Sunny, thank you, and kisses him on the cheek when the last time she saw him, she called him a bastard and pushed him.
Because he was though, so like I can't
I
blame
know,
her
I
in
get
that
it.
moment.
I get it. I get it. I just feel like it was such a fail that they didn't hook up when she wasn't a cop because the chemistry was
I
there.
know
And he
it
was like giving
was.
her bodyguards and stuff. Like, and they were both a little like Delulu. It would have been good. It really would have been good. It missed
Yeah,
opportunity. Like if there was gonna
totally.
yeah, if there was gonna be like a mob hookup, I really felt it should have been Anna and Sunny. They definitely could have had a moment. It wouldn't have been awkward. It wouldn't have been weird. And it would have
Hmm.
been fine. And then they would have moved on by now. I just don't think the like insinuation should have been between Anna and Jason.
I agree. It's weird.
Okay.
And check mark. Done.
And
Okay.
scene.
And scene. I'm like, what is it? What are the things that we say? Do you have any favorite lines or stars to give out?
I don't think I have any favorite lines because I feel like I was watching a whole episode. I was like, damn it, I didn't take any notes. But a lot of gold stars, I think. I definitely want to give a gold star to the anniversary episode. to
Yes,
Emma,
absolutely.
to Tracy, to Lucas and Marco, Diane, Avi,
To platonic love.
to Platonic Love. Like, it's so many stars. The Jen Sidwell scenes, he's always like super fun to watch. Like he goes from fun to scary. Started Toronto.
I started Elizabeth.
Oh, 100%. Yes. And Lucky's patience.
Yes.
Because like, oh, you blame Rick, don't you? He's like, and I love that he went along with it, right? He went
Yeah.
along and allowed that to be, and he's like, no, I don't blame Rick. I don't blame Rick.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I agree. Stars to everybody except for Drew. It was a fantastic week. We're
I
leading
shouldn't
up.
do this. I shouldn't do this, but I have a question.
Yeah, oh gosh, okay.
Do you think Ava's gonna find out that it was Kristina? Do you think she knows? Or do you
Oh,
think it's
what?
just gonna, yeah, because
She
she's
freaking knows the minute she heard, because like they were gonna, the minute she said to look into it, so her brain was already there. And then when he said the brake lines were cut, she is done. I don't know what she's gonna do with that information, because at this point,
she's
is he
gonna
gonna
get her
write her a
money.
report? What can, oh, her money, honey. Got it. Got it.
Damn it. Because like, I mean, it's one thing if Rick was hiding the secret, but like if Ava knows, like she's going down. Like Ava's not gonna involve the police, but
But if Rick takes Christine aside, like you were speculating, and there's a battle right there.
okay, that's interesting.
It is interesting.
Okay, sorry. I'm done. I'm done.
Okay, back to the regularly scheduled program. So now we have a time frame for the nurses' ball, third week of May, nurses' ball.
Yes. I wish they invited us. Like, I wish I could go.
I know. I really. Okay, GH gods, we've been doing this podcast for how many years now?
I don't know.
A lot of years, little less than a decade, but definitely over 6. And
That was said so sweetly.
and we love your show. And one of our goals when we started this was to be at the nurses' ball. And you
Yeah.
probably already recorded it, which really breaks my heart.
Oh
But
yeah,
think
this is
about
useless
us.
then. Next year, come on, guys. Come
Rally
on.
for us, listeners. Rally for us.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Oh my gosh, that's a wrap, folks. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye.
Bye.